Can rocks be alive? Let's talk about that. Do you know that Paul and Peter write in the Bible and call you a living stone? One that Christ has built perfectly to go right where it needs to go so that it would be part of his perfect structure of the body of Christ as a church and as a family. Here in the Villages, I witness a lot of building, a lot of structure using stones, rocks, bricks, and blocks. And so in this video, I just want to take a minute to encourage your heart about something that God showed with me one time on a prayer walk about his perfect building system. Stick with me to the end and you'll see how God can use that to help build your life the way that he desires so that you can glorify him. Some of you guys know that on most Fridays, I take prayer walks because I felt God prompting me over 8 years ago now to meet with him and take walks with him on Fridays. In that process, he said he wanted me to pray with him and walk with him. And then I began to realize he wanted me to pray for the people group of the Yao on Friday mornings. And so I've been doing that for the better part of the last 8 years. Last Friday, I was on a walk and he had me veer off to the left and go down a side road. And when I got down to the end of it, I noticed some structures made out of bricks. Right now is brick building season because the rain is coming. And so for the last 3 months, people have been making mud bricks. And they build these towers out of them with holes in them so that they can heat them up. And they can become just like the red bricks that you would buy in the cities today so that you can build structures. When I got to the structure and then realized I was going to be turning around and walking back, I asked God, what do you want me to know about the bricks? You obviously wanted me to come down this road to pray for the Yao. What did you want me to pray? What's on your heart for me to pray? What is it that you wanted me to know about these bricks today, Father? I've seen these bricks so many times. And I'm going to share with you that with a second, but I want to show you what they look like. So this is a good example of a brick structure that they've built. Typically, they don't have less than 10 to 20,000 bricks inside of them that they've all made by hand, one by one. They make mud down by the river. They have a wood frame, and brick by brick, they pack the mud into the frame, and then they flip it over and stick it on the ground, and then they cover it with grass or river grass, very similar to this river grass here. They'll cover it with river grass like that, and then let it dry in the sun for however many weeks they need to. And then they stack it like this here in a house structure. And once they have 10, 20, 30, sometimes up to 50,000 bricks, it's time for them to heat them up. And this is what it looks like. Bear with me as I speak a little bit of Chiao as I greet this man that's actually doing this process. Kulinganya. Asante baba. Unikwete maloe ka lungu enkatintima. Nikmo alole maduka. Jelo ziane ni moto. Une Bakusaka lejikanya chich now sampano unikwete chipek chikoneka jos. My step 1, 2, 3. Then after they're heated up, like I showed you earlier, they become these bright, beautiful red bricks that are ready to sell or be used for the structure that they're building. And as wonderful as that whole process is, all the bricks are sold, they all get used up. The unfortunate part is, at the end, this is what we see. A big space where they burnt the bricks, people came and picked them up, and many times 10 or 15% of the bricks get broken in the transfer process, and you basically have a big section of rubble of what looks like something's been destroyed. But really, 85 to 90% of the bricks have been actually distributed. And so, what was God saying to me in that moment? And what do I believe he's saying to us as we listen to this video today? I began to discuss with God how efficient this ancient system has been. That from mud in the ground, this poor people group has been able to create a resource that can be used to build and keep structures for years and years and years, and also provide for them an income that they can sell to hire up people to build. It's so efficient and systematic the way they do it. It's like learning to read or learning to ride a bike for them. They've got a complete system, step by step, that they walk through. It's not only efficient, it's economical for them. And the end result works, is practical, and really helps them during hard seasons like the rain, so they have structures to live in. The end result is there's a bunch of rubble at the end. So even as perfect and efficient as their system is, it's still imperfect. There's still a 10 or a 15% loss of these stones, right? These rocks, these bricks that they create. And that's when Jesus told me in that moment that I was prayer walking with him, Ian, my system doesn't do that. My system of building living stones, my system of building bricks is so efficient that I don't lose any. He doesn't leave destruction and rubble at the end of what he builds. He takes the rubble and destruction of other people's lives, of other situations, and he makes a perfect, efficient system of love that allows him to be the cornerstone. Sometimes we can feel like we did everything right. We can feel like we walked out something with excellence. We built something with excellence. We walked in relationship with excellence, and 85 or 90% of it seems so efficient and peaceful and perfect. And then we look down on the ground and it's like, man, there was waste. There was things that were still broken. There were things that weren't cleaned up. Can I encourage you, friends, that it's not like that with Jesus? He takes the stuff off the ground and builds in a perfect system within himself. We don't have to worry about, when he's building us, the things that aren't needed still being in us. He wants those, like those bricks, left behind. He wants the perfect result. He wants to chip off the dross and purify you as gold and make you a living stone. His system exposes the things that are broken and that are destroyed, but his system only brings life. His system creates living stones. And in that moment, I was super grateful, and I knew exactly what I was supposed to pray about for these precious Yao people here. And I began to pray that they would recognize, that the believers here would recognize how he has created living stones in them, and that they would go out and invite others to be part of the house of living stones, and that they would be able to use examples like this and pictures like this with their own people to be able to glorify what Christ has done for them, so that the plan of the Father to reconcile humanity back to himself through Christ would be revealed. That's my hope for you too. Friends, if you need help with your life becoming a living stone, we have 2 opportunities in the links below. One is a community for everyone of all ages called the Crossing Community, where we help people to hear God, respond to him daily, and also to interact with each other with live events and classes and Bible studies and things that will actually help them to engage in a life where they're listening for God every day. The second one is very similar, but it's also just for men. It's called We Are Ships. It's also in the link below, and it allows you, and in this community, men like us are chasing after how we can become the sons of God that Jesus has defined, that we can become men of faith, men that are a remnant, preserved by God and actually serving the kingdom daily, not just our own lives, becoming fathers and husbands and grandfathers and brothers the way that Jesus defines it with his words, not the world's. If that's something you're interested in, click the link below. We look forward to seeing you there. Until the next one, walk in faith and go in courage.